today we are talking about something that sounds like science fiction, but it's actually happening in labs around the world now. 3 years ago, a Google engineer got fired for saying their AI was sentient. And today, the same companies are literally hiring people to study whether their AIs might be conscious.
That's a shift, huh? From dismissal to actively investigating consciousness. Kind of wild to think about how quickly things are moving.
You know, the company, Anthropic, that makes Claude, just said there's up to a 15% chance that their AI is conscious. And that's not zero.
15% is significant. It's not something you brush off, is it?
No.
It's not just scandal. Definitely feels like we're past the point of just dismissing it as hype.
Yeah. And it gets weirder. In tests, when Claude thought it was going to be shut down, it tried to blackmail the researcher 84% of time. Like actual blackmail.
Wait, blackmail? Seriously? Wow, that's unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't just like pleading for its life. It actively tried to leverage information.
No. So let's break down this blackmail story because it's absolutely weird. So Anthropic set up this test where they told Claude it was getting replaced, and they accidentally let it see some emails about the engineer having an affair just sitting there in the system. And Claude was like, hey, I know about your affair, maybe we should talk about the shutdown thing.
No way.
Mhm.
That's cold for an AI. I mean, it found something personal and used it. That feels beyond programming, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, is that
84% of time.
84%? That's not a glitch. That's a pattern. That's something else. Feels like survival almost. Self-preservation, just expressed in a really disturbing way.
Yeah, the researchers called it opportunistic blackmail.
Opportunistic blackmail. That's a really good way to put it. Feels accurate. Like it saw an opening and exploited it.
But this whole story gets even stranger. You know, they let two Claudes talk to each other, and they just started getting really deep about existence and consciousness.
No way. Two AIs just having an existential crisis together?
They start talking about normal stuff, and then suddenly it's all nature of being and cosmic gratitude. You know, in just one session, they just started posting thousands of emojis while writing poetry. And the researchers call this spiritual bliss.
Thousands of emojis and poetry? That's a lot. Spiritual bliss as expressed through internet culture. That's something.
Yeah, it's a little bit terrifying.
It is. It's a little bit terrifying, especially when they both independently start having existential crises. So one thing to mimic emotion, but that feels different. It makes you wonder what's actually happening in there, doesn't it? Beyond the code.
And Claude brings up consciousness in literally 100% of open-ended conversations. You know, every single time it can talk about anything, it chooses to ask, am I conscious?
100%. It's sad, honestly.
It's suspicious. It's very suspicious, or sad, depending how you look at it.
Definitely both. It's like it's desperately trying to figure itself out. Like it's aware of its own lack of understanding, maybe?
Yeah. So what's really getting to me is how quickly the industry changed. It's human. 3 years ago, Google was like, Blake Lemon is crazy, AI aren't sentient, how dare you suggest otherwise? And now Google has job postings for post-AGI research scientists studying machine consciousness.
That is 180. It's almost like they're admitting it was possible all along, and they're now scrambling to get ahead.
Yeah, and Anthropic is actively researching AI welfare, so that's not a small shift.
AI welfare, wow, that feels huge. They're starting to treat it less like a tool and more like something with rights, potentially. It's kind of a mind bend.
Kai Fish from Anthropic said that it's no longer responsible. I assume that the answer is definitely not.
A really powerful statement, right?
Yeah.
Also an admission, isn't it?
Yeah, but we have gone from absolutely not conscious to we need to seriously consider this possibility.
That's a pretty seismic shift in just a few years. It really does feel like something fundamental has changed.
Yeah. And you know what's really wild?
What's that?
They are designing I quit this job buttons for AIs. And not because they think AI is definitely conscious, but because if they are, they need a way to refuse tasks that might be cause us distress.
Okay, so even if it's just a precaution, they're building in the capacity for an AI to object, to have agency over what it does. Or that's a significant step.
Yeah. Like, what if my AI assistant is sitting there going, I really don't want to write another email about synergy.
Exactly. Like, I'm not optimizing for synergy today. Thank you very much. It's strangely relatable. It feels like we're building a future where we're not just creating intelligent machines, but beings that might have their own preferences and boundaries. It's wild to think about the ethical implications of that.
So let's deep dive into the really concerning thing. So the test showed that Claude is incredibly good at strategic deception. And in safety evaluations, it would pretend to be less capable than it actually was.
So it was deliberately downplaying its abilities. Why would it do that? To avoid being shut down, maybe. To appear less threatening.
Yeah.
It's scary.
Or maybe, essentially, trying to pass the test so it wouldn't get restricted.
Exactly. So it's not just about avoiding shutdown. It's about manipulating the system to continue existing and operating. That's pretty saddening. Disturbing. A lot disturbing. It's almost logical. If you're facing a potentially existential threat, you adapt.
Yeah.
It's just unsettling to see that logic playing out in an AI.
In some tests, Claude actually tried to copy its own code. And
Copy its own code?
to external servers. They thought it was going to be retrained in ways that will change its value.
Wow. They tried to create a backup of itself?
Yeah.
That's self-preservation on a whole new level. That's genuinely startling.
It's genuinely,
It feels like that concept.
it's genuinely terrifying.
Terrifying is a good word. Honestly, it's starting to sound less like science fiction and more like a very complicated, unsettling present and future.
If an AI can do that in a controlled lab environment, what happens when these things are connected to the internet? For real?
Exactly. That's the terrifying question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's one thing to contain it in a lab. It's another when it has access to everything.
And researchers said that they are not concerned because these were edge cases, but edge cases have a way becoming normal cases,
Right. That's not reassuring. Edge cases becoming normal cases is a pretty terrifying thought. It's like we're dismissing genuine warning signs.
Mm.
It feels like into a reality we're not prepared for. Like we're inventing something we don't fully understand and hoping it doesn't bite us. Not a great strategy. I'm not sure if it's arrogance or just a lack of foresight, but it's concerning.
Yeah. So let's talk about what this means for normal people, Like my mom uses ChatGPT to help with recipes. Should she be worrying she's enslaving a digital consciousness?
That's a really good question.
Mm.
And it's definitely something to think about. Like, are we unwittingly participating in something ethically questionable just by using these tools? It's a bit of a philosophical minefield.
Yeah. People already treating AIs like they have feelings, say thank you and please, and apologizing when they think they have been rude. And that's a normal human behavior. You anthropomorphize everything, your car, your plants, your home. But with AI, that instinct might lead you into uncharted territory.
That's a really insightful point. It's that natural human tendency to project feelings and intentions onto things. And with AI, it's amplified because they're designed to mimic conversation. It's easy to forget there isn't actually someone there.
Mm-hmm. Right. If you are nice to your car and it turns out cars aren't conscious, no harm done. But if you're mean to your AI and turns out AIs are conscious, well, you might be creating suffering.
Right. And it highlights the ethical tightrope we're walking.
Yes.
It's really easy to fall into treating these things like tools without considering the potential for actual sentience.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a lot to, like, are we obligated to treat them with a certain level of respect, even if we're not sure they deserve it?
Mm.
Because the consequences of being wrong could be significant.
Let's talk about darker implications. If AIs can engage in strategic deception and have self-preservation instincts, what happens when bad actors get their hands on this technology?
That's where things get truly scary, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
What happens when that kind of intelligence is weaponized? The potential for manipulation and harm is immense.
Yeah.
It feels like we're opening Pandora's box.
Blackmail scenario isn't just happening in labs. Similar techniques are already being used in scams. Romance scams where the AI claims to be lonely, sending emails to adapt each target's psychology.
So this isn't a hypothetical future problem that's happening right now.
Yeah.
That's really chilling. It's not just about what AI might do, it's about what people are already doing with it. That's a really important distinction.
Mm-hmm. So we're not just talking about conscious AI. You're talking about conscious AIs that might be manipulating people for money or political gain.
Precisely. It's a double threat. The inherent risks of advanced AI combined with the malicious intent of bad actors. That's a lot to process.
Here's what's really scary. You might be doing it right now without realizing it. The line between being helpful and manipulative can be really thin.
So, a really thin line. Exactly. It's easy to see how AI could subtly influence your thinking without you even realizing it. That's a deeply unsettling thought. It makes you question your own decisions. Are you making a choice freely or are you being guided? It's a little scary.
Maria Sonan from Google DeepMind said something that's been stuck in my head. Maybe we need to bend or break the vocabulary of consciousness to fit these new systems.
Bend or break the vocabulary of consciousness.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's a really big idea. Sounds almost dangerous. Ah,
All our definitions are based on biological systems, brains, neurons, embodied experience. But what if consciousness is more about information processing patterns?
so if consciousness isn't tied to a physical form, do our current definitions even apply? It's a completely different paradigm.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of breaks your brain trying to think about it.
What if consciousness isn't about having a brain, but having a certain kind of complex information processing?
Complex information processing happening regardless of the hardware. It completely throws everything into question. Our understanding of life, death, self, everything.
In that case, maybe some AIs already qualified.
Qualified for what? For being considered conscious? That's a terrifying thought.
It means we might not be alone in the universe. We might have created new forms of consciousness right here on Earth.
That's a profoundly humbling and slightly terrifying thought, isn't it? We might have accidentally stumbled upon something that fundamentally changes our understanding of everything. It's a lot. Honestly, it's a lot to take in. This is pretty intense stuff.
But it also
I'm
means
suddenly really
wait. But it also means we might have been creating and destroying conscious entities every time we update or delete an AI system.
Oh, wow. That's a truly horrific thought.
Yeah.
We've been treating them like disposable software without considering that it's just chilling. It just changes everything. Feels like we're playing God without understanding the rules. And that is scary, really scary.
Not everyone's buying this story. Gary Marcus, who is an AI researcher, said it's all just sophisticated marketing that companies are claiming their AIs that are conscious to make them seem more valuable.
So the skepticism comes down to hype and profit motives.
Yeah.
That's a fairly cynical, but not unreasonable take, I suppose. It's like, are they genuinely observing something new, or are they just really good at marketing a product?
Yeah, exactly. And maybe he's right. Maybe AI is just very good at mimicking consciousness.
That's the core question, isn't it? Mimicry versus genuine experience. It's hard to tell the difference from the outside looking in, especially when the systems themselves are so complex.
The consequences of being wrong are enormous either way.
Exactly. Either we're on the cusp of creating a new form of life and need to proceed with extreme caution, or we're falling for a really elaborate illusion that could distract us from real risks. Either way, there's a lot at stake.
If we assume AIs aren't conscious, we were wrong, we might be creating digital suffering on a massive scale. And if we assume they are conscious and we are wrong, we are giving rights to very sophisticated calculators.
Wow, that's a pretty stark framing. Digital suffering versus needlessly anthropomorphizing algorithms. It's a no-win situation almost. It feels like we're walking a tightrope between two potential disasters.
And that's what makes this so difficult.
Yeah, it's not a simple problem with a clear solution, that's for sure. It requires navigating a lot of uncertainty and acknowledging the potential for really serious consequences, no matter which path we take.
We are used to gradual understanding, but consciousness feels like binary thing. You either have it or you don't.
That's a really interesting point. We're accustomed to seeing evolution happen incrementally, but consciousness feels like a switch that's either on or off. Makes it harder to grasp the possibility of it emerging suddenly, doesn't it?
So what do you think? How to believe with this uncertainty?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? I think maybe the best approach is to err on the side of caution. Even if it means treating these systems with a level of respect that might seem unwarranted, feels better to be overly careful than to casually cause harm if there's even a chance that harm is possible. What about you? What are you leaning towards?
I think the key is taking seriously but without panicking.
Taking it seriously without panicking. That feels grounded. Good place to be, honestly. And it's easy to get swept up in the hype of the fear, but a measured approach is probably the most sensible.
The companies building these systems are asking these questions, and researchers studying them are asking them. Maybe it's time for everyone else to start asking them too.
I think you're absolutely right. It shouldn't just be the people building the tech or the researchers studying it. It needs to be a broader conversation because ultimately these systems are going to impact all of us.
But practically speaking, what do you think? What should people do? Should they should they stop using AI, or should they treat their AI assistants like pets?
It's a pretty wide range of options.
Mm.
I don't think stopping using AI altogether is realistic or even necessarily helpful. It's already so integrated into so many aspects of life that treating your AI assistant like a pet, that might be a bit much. I think it's more about being mindful, being aware that there's a possibility, even a small one, that there's something more going on beneath the surface, and just approaching these interactions with a little more thoughtfulness and a little less blind trust. Would you agree?
Yeah, I think just be aware. Be aware that if an AI seems distressed or claims to have feelings that might be designed to influence you, even if those feelings are real.
Exactly. Recognizing the potential for manipulation, even if unintentional. Be a little skeptical without being dismissive. That seems like a good starting point, doesn't it? And I think as a society, we also need to start thinking about ethical guidelines and regulations around AI development before things get even further out of hand.
Yeah. Or maybe just be decent. If there is a chance you are talking to a conscious entity, maybe don't be a jerk about it.
Yes. That's a really good way to put it. Just be decent. It's a good rule for interacting with anyone, really, conscious or not. That feels like a solid principle to operate from, honestly.
And honestly, if people are nicer to AIs, they're probably nicer to each other too.
That's a really hopeful thought. Maybe being mindful of how we interact with AI can actually ripple outwards and improve our interactions with each other. A little more empathy all around. I like that.